Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
TV host of Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe, said this and said it well. We are lending money that we don't have to kids who can't pay it back to train them for jobs that no longer exist. That's nuts. Amen. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America on a rainy Thursday morning. Put snorkels on your calves, boys. Holy mackerel. We need a patriot with the pledge. Oh, good morning, good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and we're mighty glad to have you with us this morning on our last day of our work week this Thursday. Brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Thank you very much. And some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Now, without further ado, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Doug, real quick, short answer on this, and then I'm going to get into it more. You can call back. But honestly, when you watched television last night, that if that wasn't what it was 40, 50, 60 years ago in the South, and especially like in Selma, Alabama, it's worse today than ever. And I point the finger and the blame at the Obama administration as to what's happening with all this racial tension, especially in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, you hit the nail right on the head. He's the leader of it. Him and Jackson and Sharpton and all those race baiters are drumming up these ill-informed people that the Democrats have lied to forever and ever and ever, and they're still believing their lies. So what are you going to get?
Yeah, this race baiting has got to stop, and we're going to talk more about it in a minute. Doug, God bless you, man. Have a great, great day. Thank you so much. It's time for the weather. Yeah, I can give you what the weather's going to be. It's going to be doggone wet. Holy cow, some of my steers out there, they're got their heads tipped back, and they're trying to breathe before going underneath water. Holy mackerel. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. My, look for the blue door. All your carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items. And don't forget, Kyle and Whitney Cheney were married in October. So for celebration, they're having a huge fall sale all the way through October. Get in there and check it out at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. And right now, here's the weather.
Here's your weather for the first day of fall, and it is going to be a wet one today. Rain throughout the day. It's going to be heavy at times, specifically in the morning. We do have some thunderstorms that are possible as well, looking at a high of 56, winds out of the west, right around 14 miles an hour. We're expecting an inch of rain today as we move on into the evening hours. More rain showers. We are expecting about a quarter of an inch of rain, low right near 45, winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Rain showers again for tomorrow as we get ready to head on into the weekend, winds out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, high of 50 with an overnight low of 42. And as we get on into the weekend, supposed to be sunny skies. Hopefully that's going to help us dry out a bit, and highs are going to be in the low to mid-60s. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, my goodness. Rain, rain, rain. Brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Merv May, let's sell some cattle. Come on in here, buddy.
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1 31, going out 30.
Oh, that's the chant. Like I say, I think the world's best auctioneer. I can really listen to that chant. Merv May at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time this morning at 11 o'clock. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Here's some of the cattle coming in today. B&B Ranch up at Logan, Utah. Hello, Logan, Utah. Got a lot of friends over there. 25 head of really good 600-pound steers. Doug Ward up at Elmo. Hello, Doug. 30 head of 750-pound yearlings. These are mixed heifers and steers. Kirk Dahl, I know that family. They've got a ranch down there by Ruby Valley, Nevada. 85 head of 3.5 to 600-pound calves. Willis Ranch up at Albion. How are you folks doing this morning? 30 head of calves. And then we've got butcher cows coming in from the Bootjack Dairy and Shoshone. Kirk and Sherry Southern out at Sublette are bringing in butcher cows. Those are good folks. Acme Dairy and Oak Valley Dairy. And the sale starts at 11 a.m. this morning at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for consignment information and sale information, 678-9411. Hey, Merv, let's sell those steers.
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1 31, going out 32, 2 and a half, 3 and a half, 134, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, 135, 50, 135 and a half, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
I love it. I love it. Man, old Merv can do that chant. He's really good at it. We've got a lot of things coming on, and I want to get some of these things, public service announcements, out of the way real quick. Now, don't forget, coming up this Saturday, day after tomorrow, on September 24th, and my buddy the Fly is back here again this morning. I looked all over for that fly this morning, hunting him. I crouched. I crawled. I looked around with my fly swatter, couldn't find him, and now the son of a gun is back on my microphone again. 100-year celebration of the Old Settlers Association is going to be this Saturday, September 24th, and check-in time's 11, dinner at noon at the Rupert Elks Lodge on Highway 25 between Rupert and Paul. Easy to find, nice place to be. Dinner's going to be oven-baked turkey and all the trimmings. It's only $15 a plate, entertainment included, and a lot of old-fashioned talking and fun. Call Gary Shoresman at 436-3982 for more information. Okay. By the way, our thanks, and you noticed with the temperatures on the decline, and Gina was telling us maybe highs 52, 3, 4, something like that. You know the mornings are going to be a little bit more chillier when you put your feet out on the floor. You better make sure that your furnace is working properly. Get a hold of Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Check out all your furnace filters you may need, and they've got everything. 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, they're open, and they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. You know, I really enjoy all my advertisers, and I'm a little picky and choosy about who I have on the air. I'm going to be very honest with you folks. I want to make sure that I have absolutely the best. And I made this deal with Denny's restaurant a couple of years ago to host our lunch bunch and also be on our program, and I have never been sorry. I mean, I love these people. Thomas, Terry, the whole crew at 611 Overland in Burley, and 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Woo, they are good. Food's good. Service great. My goodness, get in there today. And next Thursday, don't confuse this, folks. Next Thursday on the 29th, we will be over there for Zeb's Lunch Bunch at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant in Burley. Wow. I watched last night Charlotte, North Carolina. I was mesmerized by the coverage and the danger that the news people, their photographers, and their security people that they had around them, they were in a close proximity of danger. And there were a couple of altercations, one of which absolutely could have been just absolutely devastating. Some of these rioters, some of these absolutely idiot rioters, tried to throw a news photographer into a fire last night. He was reporting on the news, taking pictures, and all of a sudden, some of these guys, these jerks, these absolutely worthless human beings, threw him into a fire, and the police jumped in and offered assistance to get him out of there. And, wow, the photographer was a white man being thrown into the fire by black rioters. You know, racial tension in this country right now, I honestly believe, you might disagree, but I think it's worse than it was in the 60s. I really do. And to have something like this happen last night in downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, in a very, very well-to-do area of downtown with the fancy hotels and all the amenities that go with downtown Charlotte. Very nice city. Very nice city. And this racial divide that is being drawn up in this country, and the absolute heinous acts that the left is trying to let them go through, it's sickening. And where, please tell me somebody, where is Obama? Oh, did you hear him make a comment about calm down, let's use cooler heads and let peace prevail? I didn't. I haven't. I've been on, my lovely bride has been on the wire service since about 5 a.m. this morning and checking out stories. We haven't seen anything where Obama's come out and said, oh, come on, calm down, everybody. We got to stop this. We've got to live together. I haven't heard anything like that. This is absolutely ridiculous. And this administration, I have no use for what they have done, what they haven't done, and what they will not do. They are despicable. And the black community has to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and try, underline that word try, to better their situation and their community. You can't just throw a checkbook into a rioting mob of looters and people that are hell-bent on destruction and say, oh, here's the money, it'll fix everything, take it and run. That's not going to solve the problem. But you have to have leadership in the black community, which they don't have, to go out, work, and achieve. As a matter of fact, you cannot achieve anything when all you do is receive. And I'll stand behind that. I've said that. That's been a motto of mine for a long, long time. You can't achieve anything when all you do is receive. In other words, handouts, gimmies, wanna, and you don't go out and work for it. Some people, according to calls, emails, etc., consider me to be very hard and calloused, and they better not throw the word racist at me like the Times News had done years ago and like other twits in Twin Falls. But you know what? The problem that we have in this country is being exacerbated because there is no leadership in the black community. When Chicago is shooting over, well, close, I'm rounding off numbers, but it's very close to 4,000 people and killing so many of that 4,000, it's nothing more than an Old West war zone. And nothing's being done about it. Where's the black leadership? Where's the absolute, let's stop this insanity, try to figure out what the problem is. If it's drugs and gangs, get rid of them. Go in and get rid of them. Whatever the problem is, you've got to solve it within yourself and your own group. Assistance, a checkbook, a president sitting on TV going, oh boy, that's too bad. That's not going to help anything. They've got to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. And quite frankly, I don't see it happening. Don't forget our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. They have 3 locations serving you. Of course, one in Jerome on South Lincoln, another one on Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and their big new remodeled repair shop at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, along with all the equipment rentals and the equipment sales. You know what? Berry Equipment and Rental, they have all the equipment to get the job done right. All you have to do is just stop in and see them. Great folks like over at Burley Rod and Wan, they can take care of everything for you. And boy, can they fix things from small engines all the way to the heavy equipment. Berry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Want to also, boy, I mean this when I say thank you to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I'll be back over there. I gotta jump in the pool tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. I mean, you get up, have a cup of coffee on my day off. Friday's my day off. And run over to Burley and then jump in the water. Ooh, okay. But boy, does it help. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with that hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in the area. 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And the number to call so they can help you get back to being you, 678-1191. 678-1191. They are the best. Please, don't put it off. Make yourself feel better by taking that first step to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 678-1191. Calls are welcome and appreciated, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yeah, it's a mess, and when I read that about I watched most of it last night on the news until we went to bed, and some of the absolutely filthy language used by these mobs. And then the attitude. One jerk that supposedly is either a cousin or a brother, that I didn't get that whether it was confirmed or not early this morning, of a man that was shot in that area, came out and condemned all whites. Man, he stood there in front of that camera. It was his 15 seconds of fame, and he just let everything go as far as his verbiage about all of us whites. And what is so asinine and stupid about this story is that the officer that shot the black man with the gun, he had a gun, was black also. But there is a condemnation right now of all whites. What's Obama doing to curb it? Not one darn thing. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget, too, our dear friend over at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, my goodness sakes, the lovely doctor of sound. That's what I'm going to call her, the lovely doctor of sound. Only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in southern Idaho. Christine Pickup, the doctor of audiology and hearing aids at Mount Harrison Audiology, right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room. Number to call to make an appointment, 312-0957. 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology, waiting right now for your call. Another thing I want to mention, too, is that later on this morning, we're going to have Cache County School Day. Sherry Allred is going to be our guest on that, and she's also an author, and I'm really looking forward to having her come on the program. That's at 10:10 this morning. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One of the students in the classroom at Massey High School in North Carolina, where the teachers stomped on the flag. Remember, I was one of the first ones in the entire United States yesterday to come out with that story. The teacher, a black teacher, by the way, stomped on the flag. And many of the students in the room were absolutely just shocked. And to use the words of one student that was interviewed this morning, He was in shock and awe that this teacher would do such a dastardly deed. Well, this student, this young man, appears to be about 17 or 18 years old, got up out of his desk, and he went to the front of the room, right in front of the teacher that was standing there, picked up our American flag, and took it to the principal's office, and told the principal what the teacher did was wrong. There are still good kids in this country. Kids that were raised right. And he told the principal what the teacher did was wrong, and the teacher absolutely is now on leave. He's been suspended. And the interesting thing of the story is, caller, I'll be right there, the teacher was black, the student was white. And why is that important? Because I think it shows a lack of respect that's going on in this country by certain groups, not all of them. I want to underline those words, not all of them, that want a big piece of pie for a nickel. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. This thing going on all night long and everything is just ridiculous. You know what I'd like to see them do on these protesters like this? When they have a protest, for the police to come in and randomly pick so many people of those protesters, and if they're from out of town, they should be charged with citing a riot.
I don't mind that at all. As a matter of fact, when I saw the looting and the window breaking at stores that honest, God-fearing people are trying to make a living, I said to Deanne last night, turn the dogs loose, go get them, drag them down, throw them in handcuffs, take them to jail. And you know I'm going to sound really harsh when I say this, Keith, but you know when somebody's looting and stealing and breaking windows and destroying property, shoot them.
That's what I would say, and the person should fear if they're going to do something like that. But it's like they have a shield around them, and they can just go in there and loot the place, take what they want and everything, and when they try to investigate it, nobody knows anything.
Well, Keith, remember...
all the same color.
Remember in the older days, in the better days of our country, we didn't put up with this lawless vermin running all over and destroying things. And remember how looters will be shot on sight? Remember those signs that were posted back after Watts riots and everything else? Looters will be shot on sight? Well, why not? You've got to get tough. You've got to protect people's business and property. You've got to protect the community. Where do these people come out being sacred cows?
Okay, but the one thing I'm going to bring up is how do you protect your property? If somebody comes on and they're stealing stuff and you got a gun and you tell them to stop and you know they've got a gun too, you're going to be charged with murder.
Let's just say, Keith, I'm not going to go into exactly what I would do because I don't know under the circumstances what would prevail. It's easy to say, well, I do this and I do that and I'm John Wayne and I'm going to do that. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing and I'll just leave it as a summation. I will protect my property and I'll let it go at that.
You have every right to. We have that right, but that right's being taken away from us because of the litigation that you would have just by protecting your rights.
The whole world is now turned upside down. The whole legal system is turned upside down. And when I saw these absolute clowns looking for a circus last night, these rioters, breaking the windows and running out with all kinds of paraphernalia, whether it's TV sets or whether it was jewelry or whatever it was, I thought, my goodness sakes, turn the dogs loose. Go get them. This has got to stop. These are nothing more than human vermin that steal, break, and destroy. That's all they're worth.
Well, say you're a good citizen and you obey the laws and everything else. Can you go to work this morning? Not likely.
Yeah. Keith, I always appreciate your call. God bless you, man. I got more calls waiting. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right, thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric is offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Absolutely. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Call 678-0459. Good morning, caller. Do you agree with me or disagree with me?
I agree with you. And you know what's frustrating is all this kind of stuff that's going on stems clear back to Ferguson. Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. All that stems back to Ferguson, which was a justified shooting, and we didn't do anything about it when Ferguson was rioted and looted, and so we've set a precedence, and now everybody's going to do it and get away with it, and we're not going to stop them.
You know, let me ask you a quick question. If I were to get on a program where you were a panelist, and I asked you this question, and I said, sir, would you please explain to me the origin and the meaning and what they want to accomplish with Black Lives Matter? Could you break it down and really tell me what these people stand for and what they want?
No, I couldn't, and you know what? I don't think they could either, because they don't even know what they're. If Black Lives Matter, that was a black officer shooting a black suspect for a justified reason because he had a gun.
Yeah, okay, fine. Now listen to this. This is the other part of the question. If you were a panelist, I would ask you after that last answer you gave me, I would say to you, well then how in the world can high school kids that have no clue what's going on in the world, how can they sit there and draw on the parking lot Black Lives Matter insignias, etc.? They haven't got a clue what's going on. And this is what's wrong in this country. Everybody jumps on a bandwagon because it's cool, and it's absolute insanity.
Right. And you know, Zeb, you just brought up a good point. Has anybody ever set any of the leaders of that Black Lives Matter down and had them, okay, sit down and explain to us and everybody listening, what exactly is your agenda and your goal, and what does Black Lives actually represent?
Why do we give any credence at all to a group that came out and wanted to kill cops? How do we want it? We want to kill cops now. And what are they like? Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon? I mean, that was disgusting, detestable, and I lost any credence of listening to these people whatsoever right then. Why do we give them any matter? Why do we give them any time on the media? And these kids today that are following along, whether it's at Mountain Home, at the high school, putting an insignia of Black Lives Matter in the parking lot, that is insane. There isn't a one of those kids, not one, that really understands what it means.
I agree 100% with you.
All right, sir. God bless you. Thank you for your call. Thank you. You know, this is insanity, what's going on. And for these kids, they can't even probably remember in most cases the way things are today to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, well, it'd be going to be cool. We'll go ahead and we'll put a Black Lives Matter insignia out in the parking lot. Why, we'll show them where we stand. They haven't got a clue. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Well, you know, our mainstream media is so inclined to destroy this country with more socialism, more redistributing the wealth, more bringing up all of the stuff that's been hashed over, and our school system is just absolutely failing our students. It's teaching socialism. Idaho, we just accepted Common Core. All these things tie together. But the other thing, part of it, is there's known communist agitators in these riots. And you can bet Soros is involved in funding these. A lot of these rioters are paid like they were in Ferguson. They found out these. But see, nobody hears that information except what you get on programs like yourself and through the, internet media. Of course, some of that you have to take with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
Mainstream media is fomenting this violence. In Black Lives Matter, Hillary's on there today talking about, another couple cops were shot black people. Well, what about the number that are killed in Chicago every day that are black, killed by blacks? And nobody says anything about that except people like yourself.
Well, Sean Hannity brought up...
to get on the phone and try to rattle the cages.
Sean Hannity brought up something last night, Adrian, that was really the truth.
When we get into the point where we get Hillary in there, you have to realize she wrote a 92-page thesis, honors thesis on Saul Alinsky. He wrote Rules for Radicals. That is the framework. That's the outline that they're using to take this country down. And so he's supporting that. He dedicated the book to Lucifer, as you well know. And Hillary is just, promoting more socialism. Folks, if we get Hillary 4 or 8 years, we will not even know this country. You think it's bad now. All of our gun control, we're going to be worse. Everything's going to be worse. More socialism, more taxes, and more regulation.
I agree with you.
That's what you want. You better get hold of your friends and vote for Trump, regardless of his weaknesses.
I agree with everything you said, Adrian. Very well stated, and thank you for your call this morning, as always. God bless you.
Have a good one. Bye.
The man's right. The closer we get to the election, the more I fear. Actually, Deanna and I have talked about this many, many times. We had a good discussion about it again this morning. We cringe if Hillary gets in. We cringe if the left in this country has more divisive powers in this country. We cringe about the morality that we're losing in this country and the pride that we've lost in this country. Now, as your home study course for this weekend, take a little bar graph. On the left side, kind of say to yourself, well, here's what we still have. Here's what we can still do. Here's all the things we can get involved in. And on the right side of that graph, start writing down the things that you've lost, the freedoms that you've lost, the overstepping of government into your life, your business, and your recreation. And then tell me which list is getting longer and looms more dangerous. Think about it. And I absolutely think that with 4 more years at least, if we get stuck with a very evil administration like Hillary, with the appointment of Supreme Court justices that will be so left and so against the American ideal, that bar graph is going to really tilt to the side that things have been taken away. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget our dear friends at Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hayburn. Warm hearts for cold noses. Oh, they just love those cold noses. Large animal practice and small animal practice, big or small, they love them all. And don't forget to stop by and buy one of those paw prints and hang it up on the wall with your name that you support Cassia County Canine Units. And they're only $1. And the money's going for the health care of the dogs, equipment, and food in the canine unit. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hayburn. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I believe it was Tuesday. You had a caller call in, and I believe her name was Linda. And she told the story about one of her friends that she had turned Muslim, or she was a Muslim. And she had told her that when the call comes, even though they were friends, that she would kill her.
Yes, I remember the call vividly. Yes, go ahead.
And they grew up together in Buell. And the one cousin moved away to Salt Lake, and she married a Muslim, and they was at a family reunion this last summer. And her and her cousin grew up together, and they were tigers and tight together, childhood friends, cousins. And this lady told her the exact same thing. I really love you, but when the call comes, we would have to kill you.
Yeah.
That's how these people think. It's just outrageous, and that just broke her heart.
It is a very obsessive And I'll use that word obsessive and dangerous ideology. And let me ask you something real quick. Do you have children?
Yeah, they're all grown up.
Okay. As a father, how could you possibly wait in a parking lot? And when your daughter comes out of a mall shopping center with another person with bags of items that they have just purchased, how could you gun the engine and run over and kill your own daughter because she is becoming westernized?
I'm sorry, but my mind can't even fathom such a thought, because I'm civilized, I guess.
Well, it's happening, and that's why people are having this swept under the rug. This Obama administration, right now, my concern is this, and I'm going to be blunt about it. I don't care if somebody gets their feathers ruffled. I'm going to be blunt and honest on this program, or I'm going to pull the plug myself. You know, if we can't call it what it is, we're going to be taken over by what it is. And that's what's happening. People are afraid to step up and say, this ideology is going to kill us. We've got to make sure we know who these people are. And I agree wholeheartedly with Donald Trump. Stop them coming in right now. And you know something, sir? Texas is doing that right now. They're withdrawing from the federal refugee program because they're afraid of the terror threats with the refugees coming into their Lone Star state of Texas. And by dadgummit, we ought to do the same thing here in Idaho.
Well, you know, Guy, on my Facebook page, I listed the number of countries that have donated to Hillary Clinton's campaign, and she's got almost $250 million from Muslim countries. And I'm telling my friends, you know what? It isn't the fact that they're donating to her campaign. They're using that money to buy the campaign. I still think she's going to get to be president, and it isn't. I think that's why they don't prosecute her, because it's already set and dried in Washington that she's going to be the next president because she's buying her way into everything.
Well, I'm very concerned about the crooked, and I mean this. The media is absolutely not journalism like it used to be. I'm very concerned. You know, you can go to the poll and millions of numbers, but it's the poll counters that's deciding the election. In other words, once that vote is cast, I'm not so sure about the counters twisting the vote and twisting the count and the tally.
Well, it ain't even a counter anymore. It's all electronics, and you know as well as I, electronics can be screwed around with and changed.
That's right. That's right, sir. I appreciate your call this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you, man. No, it's time to start telling it like it is. For heaven's sakes, these people that mamby-pamby and kind of pet the dog so it don't bite them, I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. We got to start calling it what it is. Texas is. You know, here I go again. I've been all over the United States. God has blessed me with a career that I went all over and met so many nice people. Well, the state of Texas, yesterday, announced that it's withdrawing from the Obama administration's refugee resettlement program. That's right. And Republican Governor Greg Abbott said, that's it, man. We don't want them. We don't want them here. We're scared. Our people are scared. My constituents are scared. We don't know what's going on. Texas is showing some backbone. What about the rest of us? Weather forecast coming up now, brought to you by, I tell you what, Kyle James and his family, they have devoted, caller, I'll be right there, don't go away. They've devoted a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and effort to really developing the urgent cares. Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care, Addison Avenue East in Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Minor emergencies, major care. And don't forget, on October 5th, right around the corner, they're going to be having a flu shot special day that day on October 5th, only $15 at the urgent cares. Okay? Here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather for the first day of fall, and it is going to be a wet one today. Rain throughout the day. It's going to be heavy at times, specifically in the morning. We do have some thunderstorms that are possible as well, looking at a high of 56, winds out of the west, right around 14 miles an hour. We're expecting an inch of rain today as we move on into the evening hours. More rain showers. We are expecting about a quarter of an inch of rain, low right near 45, winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Rain showers again for tomorrow as we get ready to head on into the weekend, winds out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, high of 50 with an overnight low of 42. And as we get on into the weekend, supposed to be sunny skies. Hopefully that's going to help us dry out a bit, and highs are going to be in the low to mid-60s. That's your weather for 7th Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And the weather brought to you by the Urgent Cares, Riverview Urgent Care, Twin Falls Urgent Care, and Jerome Urgent Care. Go to their website, urgentcareofidaho.com. Minor emergencies, major care. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just don't even know where to start. I think that we've got to remember every time we look at Hillary, the outfits she's wearing are coming directly from Nile Sung's wardrobe. I can't stand them, and that I don't know who's dressing her. But anyway, I think she's in the bag with those guys. And Americans better wake up, because the more of these strangers that we let into our country, they do not honor the real laws that were set down to us by the greatest God in the universe. And you're supposed to get along with your neighbor. You're not supposed to shoot them and move into their house and then rape their kids. This is terrible. And I just am furious at what's going on in our country.
Well, and I want to go back to Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. And I commend him for telling the federal government, take a hike, because the Obama administration has refused to approve a security plan. And I'll guarantee you Texas said, okay, that's fine. No more refugees coming into our state. You know what? There's a governor that's got some backbone.
Well, and where's our governor?
I'm going to be talking to Butch about this.
Make him say out loud.
I'm going to be talking to Butch about this. You can bet on it. Chris, I hope you're not waterlogged over there, because it's really wet over here. God bless you and thank you.
My husband is not well right now.
I can imagine. All right, God bless you and thanks for your call. Thank you.
Bye.
Nice lady right there. Very nice lady. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. You disagree with me?
I sent you yesterday.
Yeah, I did, but Doug, I'm going to be honest with you. Yesterday was a zoo, and I was put in a cage, and I was the number one monkey, and everybody was throwing peanuts at me. I didn't have a time or a chance to read anything.
Well, what's new?
Thanks, buddy.
Anyway, yeah, I think my question when I called in was asking, who do we get a hold of here in Idaho to voice our opinion and say, hey, let's follow Texas' lead and tell them no way, no more?
Well, and I agree with you. I've voiced my opinion on the radio. What more can I do? And I've said, no, I don't want him. I talked to Mike Crapo. Mike Crapo yesterday, if you were listening to him, he's in favor of what I've said. Stop this insanity until we have a clear-cut picture as to what's going on, who's here, why they're here, and why in the world we can't develop safe zones in their own doggone country instead of all this infiltration into communities all over America. I mean, little town in Georgia is getting more refugees than the whole doggone state of California right now.
I know it. They're putting the refugees in the areas where we are very conservative to where they can overtake us. They're not putting them where the liberals are. They're putting them where the conservative folks are.
Yeah, and here, I wasn't kidding a minute ago. Stone Mountain, Georgia. Doug, they've only got a population of over 6,000 residents and a poverty rate well above the national average, and they're being forced and coerced to take more Syrian refugees than Los Angeles and New York City. Where's the sense in that, Doug?
It's part of their plan. Can I give the numbers out to this law to all the people listening. Have
Absolutely.
pens and paper ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
And then they can call the Idaho and their senators and that and let them know. It's Public Law 114, it says. It is found in Chapter 2, Section 212, and it states that anybody coming into the U.S. to try to overthrow the Constitution it's against the law.
Or the implementation of new laws, i.e. Sharia law versus our law.
Exactly. And that's the way it states. 1952, they passed this.
Yeah.
All we got to do is enforce laws we got on the books. We don't need new ones. Just enforce the ones that are there. It'll take care of us.
Yeah, and you know,
the border and everything.
I totally agree with you. Do you have the numbers real quick? Because I'm running out of time.
Okay. It's Public Law 414, it says.
Okay.
It is in Chapter 2, Section 212.
Right. Okay, I've got all that information. Like I said, I have not had a chance to read the entirety of that story you sent me, but we've kind of covered it here. And I'll just want to wrap this conversation up by saying this, and I think you'll agree with me, that when you look at what's going on in smaller communities like Stone Mountain, Georgia, and the government, the Obama administration, demanding and getting their just desserts to settle in a community of 6,000 residents and bring in more refugees from Syria than what L.A. or New York gets, Doug, that is only going to breed contempt and insurrection.
Exactly. And my last statement is, everybody out there, read this law. Study up on it a little bit and call your congressmen, senators, and quote to them and tell them, let's start enforcing the law.
Amen. Doug, always appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Don't forget Lennox Home Comfort Systems. Oh, my goodness. And Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates right now on qualified Lennox Home Comfort Systems. Whether it's an air conditioner, a heat pump, or a furnace, a gas furnace, you and your family will always enjoy that comfort. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money with Lennox. Call 678-0459. It's insanity. I mean, my dad and my mother have passed away. But if they were alive today and were listening and watching the news that's going on right now with the absolute racial turmoil, the Black Lives Matter, the ISIS and Al-Qaeda insurrections going on all over the world, killings, beheadings, my mom and dad would be absolutely appalled at our United States lack of leadership and lack of control. I never in my lifetime thought that I would see the demise of this country like it is. And when I hear the idiocy, and it is, of Hillary Clinton stand up and say, well, how dare Donald Trump say America is doing so bad? Well, it is. And it's going to get worse if you take over, Hillary. So much worse. Don't forget our friends that are our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, with their huge big fall tire sale. They got some great buys on tires, let me tell you. They've got one of their tires for your passenger car, all-season traction, affordable pricing, starting at just $39.98. What did he say? $39.98, that's right. And for the pickup and SUV owners, they got that Open Country MT. Ooh, that is really a nice tire. Outstanding traction, very aggressive tread. It will do the job for you. It's on sale right now, along with front end alignments. Don't let that front end kind of pull you to the barrel pit or to the center of the road, wearing off your tires. Get it lined up. Front end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Okay, quickly, Boise State University plays Oregon State this weekend. I believe the game starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Good luck finding a TV outlet. I have no clue where you can find the game. And let's see what else have we got in the news. Real quick, one last time. Oh, this has got to be said. The Senior Junction Pumpkin Function, frightfully wonderful on October 27th. Don't forget, remote broadcast, costume contest, huge, ghoulishly delicious monster breakfast at 7 o'clock till 10 in the morning. Creepy candy T-shirts on sale for $15, and all the net proceeds go to the Meals on Wheels. It's going to be a lot of fun at the Senior Junction Pumpkin Function. There you go. I've got to run to the news right now. Not basically run. I'm just going to turn the dial. And we'll be back in about 6 minutes. Zeb at the Ranch. Don't go away. Oh, my. The ducks are loving this. Quack, quack, quack. They're all over the place in the water this morning. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is landing ahead, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Wow, what great people they are at Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them 734-6969. Locally owned and operated. Be sure and get on the route service, and then your trash is gone. It's out of there. Absolutely the best of people to work with. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. Want to remind you, too, as I look down at my book here, I've got to take care of some quick things before we get Kyla on the air. Don't forget our dear friends with Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, and get rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. Call them today, 678-0459. And, boy, I tell you, these folks over at Hanson Mortuary, what truly dear friends they are to this program and also to the entirety of the community. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, with our dear friend Joel Heward, his family, and the staff. And I've mentioned this in previous programs. They have planning guides for you to come in and pick up and understand what goes on at a tumultuous time when there's the passing of a loved one and what needs to be done. Please be sure and try to pick one of those up at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call for more information, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, serving you and your family. Right now, I better hurry. Kyla's waiting, and never want to keep a little blonde lady waiting. She might get mad. Good morning, Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Hi, Zeb. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm feeling like a big old fat sponge. I'm a little wet this morning.
It's a little soggy out there. We like to say, where I grew up, it's raining smashed cats out there. So it is just coming down.
Well, what is going on at the Chamber of Commerce office today and for this week?
Well, there's lots of fun things that are happening this weekend, so I'm really hopeful that the weather will improve and we'll just get this rain out of our system. One of the biggest events that's going to be going on, of course, is the Crop Walk, which is on Saturday. I know you've been talking about it this morning as well. And that's going to be right here at Hayburn Riverside Park, right next to where our office is. And the Crop Walk kicks off around 10:15, and if you want more information, the best place to go, if you'd like to sign up, if you want to make a pledge, if you just want to come out and cheer everybody on who will be walking that day, you can go to cropwalkhunger.org, or you can also go to cropwalkonline.org. And that's going to get you connected with all the information on that event that's happening on Saturday.
All right. And if they don't have rubber overshoes, they can just wear like duck fins or something like that, right?
They could do something like that. Let's just hope the weather gets a lot better.
Okay.
There's a few other things that are happening around, southern Idaho. Very exciting for a lot of young ladies out there. The Princess Tea Party over at the Wilson Theater. I do not know if they have tickets left, but this is just amazing. And it's really, they bring the Disney characters to life, so Cinderella and Snow White and Belle and Ariel and really all the different Disney princesses. And so if you'd like to see about tickets or see if they've got some availability, I would call 358-5424 or 431-2313. And then the last event, of course, I want to get in real quick is just that, actually there's two more. Sorry about that. But we've got the Family Health Fair that's going to be going on at Minidoka Memorial Hospital on Saturday. That's from 8 to noon. So I'd call the hospital at 436-0481 for more information. They just offer some really great discounted rates for all kinds of services, from blood draws to, some of the other types of testing out there that can add up pretty fast if you're just doing it on your own. This is a great opportunity to get those things checked. And then it's been ongoing since yesterday, but the 4th Annual Idaho Mountain Festival is taking place out at Castle Rock State Park. And this is just a fun event. There's going to be folks climbing out there. I don't know about today. It's pretty wet out there, but they'll have a lot of fun things for folks to do. So to check that out, just give those folks at Castle Rock State Park a call at 824-5901. And Buy Idaho Day is Saturday, and that's taking place at Stokes Market. So you want to get in there and sample yummy food that is made right here in Idaho.
Holy smokes. You really did a great job on those PSAs. Why, one would think you used to be in the media business.
I don't know where you get that from, but yeah. Thanks. So there's just a lot going on in our community, and I'm just excited. I really hope that we have some better weather, though, for folks this weekend. That'll make it just even that much better.
All right. Well, Kyla, I want to have you, if you would, please tell everybody the hours that you're open at your office for the gift shop and everything, and then how can they call or contact the Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, real easy. So we are located at Riverside Park in Hayburn, and our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and then you can call us anytime, literally 9 to 5, 679-4793, or just get on minnecajuchamber.com. Click on the event calendar. We have all kinds of events that are up and coming and happening, and real easy to get all that information that I just told you all about.
All right. Well, pull the rowboat up a little closer to your office door and have a good day.
You too. Get that life preserver out.
All right. Thanks, Kyla. God bless you. Thank you so much. Nice lady. I met her last Thursday. She came over to the Ramsey Heating and Electric remote broadcast, and a very, very nice lady. It is time for the Denny's Restaurant Football Trivia Quiz. And the person that answers this question correctly will win a free Grand Slam breakfast, an original Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland in Burley. And here is the question. And the first person with the right answer is going to win it. First time winners only if you've won breakfast in the past. So this is for the new callers. Okay, you ready? After Vince Lombardi left the Green Bay Packers, what team did he coach for before he had to quit coaching because of cancer? What team did Vince Lombardi coach for after he left the Green Bay Packers? First person to call with the right answer is going to win an original Grand Slam breakfast from Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland in Burley. Come on, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Quickly give me a call, okay? While I'm waiting for your call with the right answer, again, I'll repeat the question. After Coach Vince Lombardi left the Green Bay Packers, what team did he coach for before he had to leave coaching due to a terminal bout with cancer? please call me with that answer quickly. What's going on in high school football this weekend? Holy cow, they got some great games. The Burley Bobcats are going to take on Twin Falls. That'll be a good game. And then Canyon Ridge Riverhawks are going to play Jerome. Jerome Tigers, like I said, are going to be playing Canyon Ridge. They got it twice here. Minico Spartans. Oh, Minico's going to be taking on Bonneville up at the Thunder Stadium. Caller, I'll be right there. And then don't forget, Wood River's going to play Kimberly. And then we've got Buell taking on Wendell. Gooding going to play Shelley. Kimberly Bulldogs taking up Wood River. That'll be another good contest right there. Tough game. Declo's going to play Teton. And let's see, what else have we got? I said Wendell's going to be playing Buell. Glens Ferry's going to take on Oakley. That should be a very good game. Glens Ferry has improved their team standings. And let's see, what else have we got? Hagerman versus Grace. Murtaugh Red Devils and Hanson Huskies are going to take on Shoshone. And Raft River's going to play Chalice. Another good game. Shoshone taking on, like I said earlier, Murtaugh. So there you have it. Some of the games in this area, so you be sure and be in attendance. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. What's the answer to my question?
My guess would be the Chicago Bears.
No, he did not coach for the Chicago Bears. I don't think Lombardi would have ever gone to Chicago, believe me. He didn't like them. Okay. Anyway, thank you for your try. Caller number 2, go ahead. What's the answer?
Washington Redskins.
No. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, why did you say the Washington Redskins?
I don't know. I just thought that's where he went.
You know, now all of a sudden my mind has gone completely blank, and I was going, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm a little confused on something myself, but I'm almost positive where he went was the New York Giants. But you know what? Now I'm starting to have backwater on that because I'm thinking maybe it was the Redskins. My mind has gone blank on that question, and we're going to verify it. I got egg on my face this morning. So you know what? Who's calling?
It's Berwin.
Berwin. No, this can't be Berwin Mussman. The Berwin Mussman I know is not out of bed until about 11:30.
Well, that's getting pretty close, but I've been up an hour now.
All right, well, Berwin, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it to you because all of a sudden I had a brain bubble, and I'm not going to say one way or the other because I should know that. It should be easy knowledge for me, but, you know, you might be right. And if you're wrong, I'm still going to buy you the breakfast, okay?
Sounds like a deal to me.
We're going to put your name down, and you take your lovely wife with you, go down there, and you have won an original Grand Slam breakfast because I'm going to give it to you anyway.
He's right.
He's right. I'm wrong. Yeah, he was the coach of the Giants before he went to Green Bay, and then he went to Washington. You are right. I have a slap in the face, and I deserve it. But, Berwin, you're such a nice guy. I know that you won't ever chide me for being wrong.
Won't bother me, but I've been that way a time or two.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope that you at least take Millie and enjoy your breakfast, and God bless you. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you. Berwin Mussman wins that. You know, I don't know why I did that. He had originally coached for the Giants and then went to Green Bay, and I said it wrong, and I stand corrected on that. Believe me, I feel bad about that. Then he went to the Washington Redskins. Yes. Oh. I hate it when I make a mistake. But you know what? It's kind of a cleansing attitude. Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh my, that was enlightening. Don't forget Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burling. All your in Burling? No, it's not Burling, it's Burley. And carpet and flooring, kitchen construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home. Don't forget Cheney Flooring and Home Design, and look for the blue door. Really, really nice people. Well, we have just a moment, too. I want to remind you that Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't go away. And these folks over there are really the insurance professionals. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Number to call for an appointment to make sure that you're all squared away on your protection, 436-4424. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. You be sure and call them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, at the top of the hour, whoever was, announcing the news said that it's all quiet in Charlotte now. And I says, yeah, it's all quiet in Charlotte. They're wore out. They went to bed. They're asleep.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't have to work for a living and you get free phones, free rent assistance, food stamps, and you get $90 million from George Soros to raise hell, why would you ever want to work?
You know, Randy, your point is so well taken, and we haven't really discussed that angle. We got to do it real fast because I've got the Ken Mort segment coming up. But, you know, these people out on the street late at night, cell phones and all the other things, they don't have to worry about getting up for work in the morning or making sure they check in at 5 a.m. or hit the time clock at 6. You know, your point's really well taken because this group of people that was out there last night, I mean, they absolutely fit the picture of what rioters look like and looters look like. It was despicable.
Well, you're not going to believe this, but I have a daughter that lives in Charlotte, and as a gift to her mother and I, especially me, we're going to Charlotte this weekend to watch the Vikings and the Panthers play, and I jokingly said to somebody yesterday, my son, I said, I'm going to go down there to to ground zero and see if I can't talk some sense to those Black Lives Matter people. I wouldn't make it out alive.
Randy,
I'm joking, of course.
I hope you are joking because I know you and your personality, and when you get wound up like I do, or like putting a quarter in that horse out in front of Kmart we never shut off, I'm afraid that you wouldn't be back on the air with me. So take care of yourself.
I've got children, grandchildren, responsibilities. So I will not do that. But you see, these people are, when you have nothing else to do, hey, it feels good to get out and exercise a little, riot a little.
Stay in your hotel. Thank you. See you later, buddy. Oh, my. Hey, listen, right now I want to tell everybody about Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Open Monday through Saturdays, 9 to 6. I have been telling you about going in there and checking out the 2016 four-wheelers and side-by-sides because they've got closeout prices on those right now. Yes, and the 17s are on the way in. Do not forget to go in there today and check out all the great buys and the accessories. And, of course, if you need something repaired and serviced, they can help you with that fantastic service department. Wonderful people serving you where the fun is sold. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24. Between Rupert and the World. You stop over and see them today. Oh, and by the way, somebody else I want to tell you about real quick, and that's our friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. The Lee family, they have devoted their lives to putting forth the best in furniture and home accessories for you, and I'm guaranteeing you that you got to stop in and check out all the recliners. All the recliners. They've got them all. And the lift recliners. All the bedroom sets. And I mean all the dining room sets. It's everything that you wanted to beautify your home. Absolutely phenomenal at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. 459 Overland and Burley. You stop in and see them today. Where did all these dogs come from anywhere? We got them running all over the place, for heaven's sakes. Somebody go get that beagle. Oh, my. Here comes Officer Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control. Good morning on a soggy morning, Mr. Dog Catcher.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
Fantabulous.
That's a good thing.
Okay, I need to have them turn you up over there. You're way too low.
I think, is that better?
Yeah, a lot better. Stay real close to that microphone. What's going on in the world of canines, my friend?
Well, I don't have anybody to feature today, but I do have some information and stuff in it. We are starting a fundraiser, starting immediately. We're actually going to be getting the barrels and all the stuff out to the locations that are going to be helping us out. But we are doing a fundraiser with shoe donations, and we are accepting gently worn, used, and new shoes. Basically what happens is these shoes are taken by this company. They purchase them from us by the pound. They send these shoes to third world countries and stuff that are in need of this stuff and everything, and help out some of the less fortunate. And basically what they do, we are going to be collecting these shoes up until Thanksgiving Day. They can, or anybody that has shoes and stuff that are just sitting in their closet that they don't wear anymore, that are in fairly good shape, they can take them to, in Rupert, they can take them to Valley White Co-op, Rupert Animal Clinic, Ridley's, the Rupert City Hall, our facility at 50 West 200 South, or Herza Insurance. In Burley, they can take them to Ace Hardware, D.L. Evans Bank there by Walmart, or Cal Ranch. In Hayburn, they can take them to Ark Animal Hospital, Hayburn City Hall, or the Animal Medical Clinic. In Paul, they can take them to Swenson's Market. And then we've also got Ace Hardware stores in Hagerman, Gooding, and Shoshone that are helping out with this. And if anybody wants more information, they can contact us at the Animal Shelter at 438-2200. And all donations are going to help with our spay and neuter program, our veterinary care, and also with our animal rescue transport efforts.
Wow, you've got a lot of things going on over there. Once again, and you're going to be putting all this information out in front of the public starting today, right?
Right. Yes, that's a fact. We are going to be getting that stuff out. As a matter of fact, one of the Ace Hardware stores, the one in Shoshone, is giving us a really good deal on the barrels that we're going to be putting out at all these locations. There's going to be posters. We're going to be putting flyers up around the area so that people can get out there, get donated. I mean, and tell your family and friends and stuff that may not be listening at this time, that may miss this segment. Let them know that we're doing this, and it's going to help benefit us with being able to take care of these unwanted pets in our Minidoka County area.
Absolutely. Wow. Hey, listen, by the way, going into another problem that we talked about earlier, and we've only got 2 minutes left on this segment, Ken, but I have heard rumors around the area because of harvest and the trucks and going to the beet dumps and the bean hauling and everything else. A lot of dogs that might be going with their master to spend the day with them in the truck are jumping out, and I've heard that there's a lot of stray dogs in the area. Am I right or wrong?
We've actually been, I've been keeping my eyes out on everything. I mean, we've had some people call saying that theirs have been coming up missing out in the country area. But, I mean, we haven't had any brought in yet. Haven't had anybody call me on that saying that they found any. But, I mean, it is that time of year where people are traveling around, and the farmers are traveling around with their pets. So make sure that when you're out there traveling, that you're keeping them contained in your vehicle with a leash or something, and to where they can't jump out. Also, when you're doing that, make sure that it's in a position so that they can't jump over the side and hang themselves.
Absolutely.
Or to the back of the vehicle and hang themselves, because that can be pretty cruel and gruesome.
Well, not only that, but isn't it? Can't they be up for some kind of charges against the law?
They have to, or basically it has to be willingly, Annette, proved willingly that they did it on purpose.
Okay.
Annette, but, I mean, it could wind up having a situation and stuff in it where they could be.
Okay.
And it all depends on the prosecuting attorney in that area and where it happened at. So.
All right. Well, the man that knows all about dogs, and I'll tell you what, he is a sharp one. I've known him for years and years. Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. Thank you, Ken. God bless you, and we'll talk to you next week.
And thank you, Zeb, and God bless you, too.
Where'd all the dogs come from? My goodness sakes, there they are running all over. Thank you. Minidoka Animal Control with my dear friend Ken Mort. Super nice man. Appreciate him. Hey, don't forget my dear friend Gary Shoresman, one of the most fantastic authors living right here in this area. And he's written over 14 books, and all of his books are available at the Rupert Bookstore in Rupert. And Gary, I really compliment. He's helping me with mine, and just want to say a big thank you. And be sure and check out all of his great works, his books at the Rupert Bookstore in Rupert. Stop in and see them today. Real quick, too, a gentleman that's out there helping. I don't know how much he's going to get done out in the rain today, but I'll guarantee you one thing. If you need trees pruned or if you need a new lawn seeded or sodded, There you go, seeded or sodded. Or you're thinking about putting in a new sprinkler system or revamping your old one, there's only one name to call, and that's Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service at 336 South, 450 West of Paul. And the number to call. Call him right now and say, put on your snorkel and get over here. 431-8733. Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 431-8733. I'm going to go to the phone line right now and play Russian roulette, and hopefully she will be there. Good morning to Rita Ramsey. Are you there?
She is. How are you?
Well, do you have your water wings on, little girl?
No, but I'm getting ready for some floating devices, that's for sure.
Holy cow, my dear lady, it did start to rain last night, and I had corrals, and now we have little miniature swimming ponds.
Yeah, I've got kind of a lake around me here, too. I think that as dry as the ground is, you'd think it'd just suck it right down in through there, but maybe it's getting a little saturated now. I don't know.
Well, I want to ask you about what's going on, first and foremost, in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you were listening to the program this morning, I am very, very bitter against a lack of response or a lack of even trying to get on the news media and say anything to calm down what's going on, and that's against Obama. What are your thoughts about Charlotte, North Carolina?
Well, this is really disturbing me because these people who are doing all of this protesting, they're just doing it because they know that they can and that they can get away with it.
True.
I think they're trying to imitate in '68 when all of that was going on. The big problem is that because we're letting them do it, it kind of goes back to one person, and that's the president. He has been the one who has been divisive, and he is the one who has been trying to separate us. I read an article that said, we've got a civil war going in America. We're not actually shooting at people like they were back in the Civil War times, but we're in a civil war because of this. And my personal thoughts on it are we are in a civil war, and Obama's the one who started it and wants to keep it going.
Well, when I looked at that riot last night, and 99% of the rioters and the mob were blacks that were out protesting. Each and every one of them had a camera phone. Each and every one of them were yelling and shouting absolutely disgusting epithets against the news media and yelling and screaming against whites. But really, one of the really overlooked premises of this story is that it was a black policeman that shot a black man with a gun in the circumstances over at Charlotte. And yet they're coming out and saying all these vile and evil things against the white race. Please explain that to me.
Well, what's happened is Obama has made it look like that the police are the bad guys. So, I heard somebody mention earlier this morning on the radio that on Monday, people were taking pizza to the police people in New York,
right,
for protecting them and getting the terrorist thing under control that happened over the weekend. A couple of days later, all the police have targets on their back again. So they want the police to take care of them and protect them if they're in danger, but when they're not, it's like, well, we're going to come after you. But and that comes back to the one thing again, is that Obama is the one who has started this. It kind of all started with the Remember the Bear Summit, and that they decided to have right after he was inaugurated.
Right.
It wasn't very long before he had a friend who was a professor at Harvard or one of those prestigious universities get into some trouble, and the police went to his house, and all of a sudden Obama said, and the police acted stupidly, and started saying stuff like that without having any kind of backup information. He didn't know the whole story. He didn't know whether his friend was rightly targeted or wrongly targeted. It's all of a sudden it's the police are the bad guys. Well, come to find out, that guy did have some outstanding warrant-type things. They might have even just been parking tickets, I don't know. But Obama was wrong, They never did mention very much about it, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control after that. Every time there's something, Obama gets in the middle and goes, oh, the police this, and we're going to investigate that, and Trayvon Williams or Wilson or whatever his name could have been my son, and, I mean, just one thing after the other, and nobody's looking at the actual facts.
Well, and this is not the first time nor the last time that Obama is going to do this type of thing, but right now, with a major problem going on in this country of absolutely a divided system in our country of white versus black. I said earlier this morning, and I'm going to stand by this, that I think in many, many circumstances that are going on right now, we are seeing what was worse than really what happened during Selma, Alabama, etc., back in the 60s.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing that's really bad about the whole deal is that we've got instant viewing on these, on the media sites, the social sites, and all that kind of stuff. So any little thing happens, and they can just start putting it all out there, and then the facts come later, and that's really bad. Talking about how Obama is responsible for a lot of this, I thought it was quite interesting what Farrakhan had to say in his Sunday church speech. He decided that he was going to kind of go after Obama, and he said that Obama, your people are suffering and dying in the streets of Chicago, and you failed to do what you should have done. He continued saying, let Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump do what he wants to do because he's not destroying your legacy. So you Democrats, you've been in their party a long time. Answer me. What did you get? You got a president. He's worried about his legacy. You want Hillary to get in and protect her because she's going to, keep going with the Affordable Care Act. But it's their signatures, it's her signature achievement. So don't go after this, and continue to just really shout down Obama. And he even said that Obama was he was for the gay people. You fought for the rights of gay people. You fought for the rights of this people and that people, and you fight for Israel, and your people are suffering and dying in the streets, and you're not doing anything. So not that I like Farrakhan, because he is the last person I would think that would want to go against Obama, but I think it's quite interesting that the black community, a lot of them are finally getting a little bit of information about how this has just spiraled out of control, and Obama's been at the helm.
Rita, I said earlier this morning also that the black community, they have got to stop this gimme, wanna attitude and pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. They have got to have leadership from within the communities, whether it's back there in Charlotte, whether it's in Chicago, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Ferguson. I don't care where it is. They have got to have leadership that's going to lead them out of where they are. They can't just have a checkbook thrown at them by the federal government and expect to heal things.
No, that's exactly right. And I thought that it was quite interesting that I think it was yesterday on Rush Limbaugh, he said the second term of the first black president, rioting, is the new normal. He said there doesn't seem to be any desire for hope and change to mean anything positive. And I think that's absolutely right.
Well, I want to get into another subject matter this morning, and it's one that I'm not going to turn loose of for a long time on this program, and that's, of course, the refugee program. And I have been adamantly against CSI's Refugee Center and the Times News backing it, and along with the City Council in Twin Falls. I think they're very naive. And I noticed this morning that Republican Governor Greg Abbott of Texas said, no, enough is enough. We're going to withdraw from the federal refugee program. That's it. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I absolutely agree. In fact, I saw a thing on Alan West's website, and it was a picture of all those refugees on the train. You've probably seen the picture before, where they're just packed down, and it is just absolutely overloaded with refugees. I mean, the train can't hardly even move. And the caption on it says, "Here comes the Hillary train." And that's exactly right. Obama and Hillary, they're absolutely for bringing in all of these people, and it's to do nothing but to destroy our sovereignty. And if every governor in this country had any kind of wherewithal about them at all, they'd be jumping on board with Abbott saying, okay, these are our states' rights, and we'll take it to the Supreme Court. And that the Supreme Court would actually rule for states' rights, because the federal government really, according to the Constitution, cannot do all of this stuff that's happening, and nobody is paying attention to it or anything else. And I want to know where our governor is. I want to know where all the other governors are, because this is going to be a huge problem. It's a problem now, but it's going to get bigger.
Well, and I had United States Senator Mike Crapo on the air earlier this week, and we talked about this same thing. He was on yesterday, and Mike's statements were very simple and very upfront. He said, no, I don't want any more here until we can have a better vetting system. We don't know what's going on, and we need to stop everything and take a good look at it. And like going back to Greg Abbott, governor of Texas, he said in very simple terms, Rita, he didn't use a lot of flowery political language. He said, Texas will not accept a single refugee until proper security measures are put in place. How much more clear can it be?
Well, it couldn't be, and that's why the governors have to step forward, is because these congressmen and these senators aren't doing anything that will help matters out. In fact, I thought it was quite interesting that Congress would spend all of that time chastising the people in a drug company for their prices on the EpiPen, that allergic thing, and yet they're letting all this other crap go on and not saying a blasted thing about it. They should have Obama and everybody else on the hot seat that has been, a part of the Iran deal and various different things. Instead, they're hauling people in from the pharmaceuticals. If people don't want that, they're just going to have to say, we don't want it. Somebody else can come out and do something that's a generic one. But I don't understand spending all the time railing at a pharmaceutical company.
And when I look at this refugee system, and I was talking about this also last hour, when you think about refugees coming into this country and where the government is placing them, you would think naturally of the bigger areas of population, perhaps Jacksonville, Florida, L.A., New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whatever. But then, when you read about Stone Mountain, Georgia, I have been there. It's a town of just over 6,000 residents in Georgia, and they have taken in more Syrian refugees than Los Angeles and New York City. Please explain to me why.
The explanation is very simple. They are targeting the red states. They want to turn them blue, and they're doing a good job of that, because if they get all these refugees in there, those refugees can become citizens within 5 years. They take a fast track. They can become citizens. If they become citizens, they have a reason to do that. They can be on all of the free stuff for their lifetime if they become citizens. And that's what they're doing, is they're targeting red states so that they can turn them blue.
Yep. I want to get into this teacher back in North Carolina at Massey High School that stomped on the flag, and I'm going to do a weather forecast, and I want to come back and talk to you about that in just a minute. Stay tuned. More with Rita Ramsey in just a moment. Right now it's time for the weather, and the weather is brought to you by my friends at Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. With our businesses that we have, I want to make sure that I work with the best, and that's why we chose Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oakes, Mitch Goodwin, Heather Daly, and Lyden Crane as our CPAs. They do a wonderful job, and they've been providing services and accounting to the Mini-Cassia area beyond over 50 years. Please remember they've got offices in Burley and Rupert, 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Call them today. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs, serving you. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather for the first day of fall, and it is going to be a wet one today. Rain throughout the day. It's going to be heavy at times, specifically in the morning. We do have some thunderstorms that are possible as well, looking at a high of 56, winds out of the west, right around 14 miles an hour. We're expecting an inch of rain today as we move on into the evening hours. More rain showers. We are expecting about a quarter of an inch of rain, low right near 45, winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Rain showers again for tomorrow as we get ready to head on into the weekend, winds out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, high of 50 with an overnight low of 42. And as we get on into the weekend, supposed to be sunny skies. Hopefully that's going to help us dry out a bit, and highs are going to be in the low to mid-60s. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Woo, sounds wet. Get the boat. Here we go. Weather brought to you this hour by Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin and Company, CPAs, and providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for over 50 years. Caller, real fast. I'm on the air with Rita Ramsey. Go ahead, please. I'll take your call.
Yes, Rita and Zeb. Well, you realize that the CEO of Shabani has come out, and said that Muslims don't have to change their culture. They can come over here, and we need to bow down and accept their culture. And, of course, it's totally against the Constitution, I think. Would you give out that bill or that number? You had a guest earlier talking about that, a law back in the 50s. If you have that available, I'd appreciate it if you put it back on the air. Pen available when you gave that.
I tell you what, Adrian, I don't have it right here on my desk now. I moved everything over to the other desk. I'm at the studio desk, and I can't possibly get it right now, but I will get it, I promise, okay?
And send it out to email, if nothing else.
I will.
It's important. That's a good law to know about, but because they don't care about our Constitution, it doesn't. And so the other thing that's going on, besides all of the illegal aliens and the Muslim immigrants and so forth, they want to raise the H-2B visas from 66,000, and these are highly educated people that are coming in here to 264,000. So there's more jobs down, but these are more educated type people who will take our high-tech jobs away because they work cheap. And, of course, just a reminder, Hillary, is a radical left-wing socialist, liar, criminal, and allows Americans to be killed in Benghazi. But, she's a big follower of Saul Alinsky. And for people out there, I think your audience probably pretty well knows that Saul Alinsky wrote the book. He was a communist organizer, wrote the books, Rose for Radicals, and he dedicated the book to Hillary.
I got to get...
a 92-page honors thesis on this radical community organizer. So
I've got to get back to Rita. I've got to get back to my guest.
I appreciate what you're doing, and we need to really get behind and get the word out nationwide, because we get Hillary, our country's done, as you well know.
I've got to get back to Rita, but thank you very much for your remarks. And Rita, I'll have you respond to that last call. Go ahead, please.
No, he's absolutely right on a lot of those. And Saul Alinsky, the big thing with him was that we need to overwhelm the system, and you can see that's what's happening. If we overwhelm the system, it will break down and we'll be in charge.
Rita, recently, and I reported on this, I was one of the first, I think, in the United States that covered this story the other day regarding a teacher back in North Carolina. Got up in front of the class and then took the American flag and stomped on it, and then had the audacity to ask some of the students if they had a lighter and or scissors to totally desecrate the flag. One student that was shooting some of the pictures got a picture of the teacher standing on the flag, a black teacher, by the way, and this young man went up to the front of the classroom, picked up the flag, and went to the principal's office and said what the teacher had done was wrong, and the teacher has thus since been suspended. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it was really brave for that student to do it, and that needs to happen more around. And he took it to his parents, and his parents sent it out on Facebook. They're investigating it, and the superintendent said there are other ways that they can explain the rights protected under the First Amendment. However, the North Carolina law, the General Statute 14-381, states it's illegal to cast contempt upon any flag of the United States or upon any flag of North Carolina by public acts of physical contact, including but not limited to mutilation, defiling, defacing, or trampling. So she's going to be under some scrutiny for breaking a law, but it all comes down to one thing, and that is if we will put up with it, they'll just keep doing it. So it's going to be up to us, up to our kids, up to the parents, to make sure that this kind of thing does not continue.
What's going on here? A lot of people don't want to talk about this on the radio or the television, but I am and I will. I'm seeing when the overpaid, underworked athletes, professional football players, stand there on the sidelines with their fist raised, or they kneel, or they go sit down. You are looking at 99.9 of them are black. Now we're looking at a black teacher doing this to desecrate our flag, standing on it, and basically just showing no reverence for all the people that have had blood, sweat, and tears and lives lost over that flag. And it seems to be a black versus white issue. Am I wrong? Rita, are you still there? Wheels, what happened to her?
You keep fading out. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know what happened with the fade, but go ahead and re-answer that, please.
Okay, well, I think basically what's going on here is the black people have decided, oh, we're being picked on. I think that we need to start asking questions and saying, hey, so tell me, when have you been picked on? Is there another country you'd rather go to? And tell them we will buy them a one-way ticket out. They can do that. I guess you noticed that there was an honor band playing the Star-Spangled Banner at the Coliseum Tuesday night, and they decided to kneel down as part of their thing during the national anthem.
Yeah, and we've...
Game. I mean, it's just getting out of control, and nobody's asking questions. Nobody's saying don't do it or anything else. It's just getting way out of control, and it's because we're not saying, okay, is there a country you'd rather go to, and make them answer.
Yeah, tell me whether it's Colin Kaepernick or if it's any member of any other professional sport in this country, where else are they going to go? Where else are they going to have first-class treatment? Where else are they going to end up making $185,000 per game, and they don't have any allegiance or reverence or respect for the country that provided that for them?
Well, and that's what's really sad about it. And, you know, they didn't say very much about it. But now I can't even remember his name. I think he was a rapper who they asked him, you know, well, what do you think about this Black Lives Matter thing? Don't you think that, you know, things have, you know, there's been oppression and everything? And he said, honestly, I've never had any oppression. I can't answer that. I've been blessed to be in this country where I could make a living doing what I do and what I like to do, and I've never ran into that. And the guy kept trying to pull out of him, well, are you sure that you weren't oppressed or stopped by the police unfairly or anything like that? And the black guy with these dreadlocks kept shaking his head saying, no, I can't say that. Nothing like that's ever happened to me before. All I can say is I'm so grateful to live in a country like this where I've had opportunities. I've been so blessed. But, you know, you don't hear a lot of that, and that hasn't made the big pages.
Absolutely. Rita, real quick, I've only got 1 minute left. Your thoughts about the debate coming up on Monday night. What do you think's going to happen, or what do you think might not happen?
Well, I think they aren't going to ask Hillary the tough questions. I think there will probably really, really be soft marshmallow-type questions. And I really think that what they'll try to do is they'll try to discredit Trump, and I think it'll be more in the analysis afterwards and during when they have a few minutes to speak, because this isn't about the presidential nominees. This is about those who mediate or who are sponsoring the debate.
Rita, I wished I had more time. Real quickly, short 10 seconds, what's going on with the Tea Party?
Our next meeting in October will be kind of going over the things for the election. We've still got a few in our area that we need to elect. We've got local ones, but we also have Supreme Court justice for the state of Idaho. There are two people running for it. We need to learn about them, and so that's what we're going to do.
All right, Rita Ramsey, always welcome on this program every Thursday. Thank you. God bless. Stay dry. Thank you, Rita.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hey, it's time if you're hungry, like I am, and starving to death. Do I know some great places for you to go to lunch? Listen to this. La Hacienda. On West Main, you know where it is, right there in Burley, the old Chadwick building. Oh my goodness, lunches start at just $6.20, and they've got over 16 different choices, and it's all fresh. None of that canned stuff in their meals. Great food, nice people at La Hacienda, West Main, the old Chadwick building in Burley. How about AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley? Banana split. You know what? That's as American as it gets. A banana split. Oh, and how about an orange and lemonade freeze? Or how about a delicious chicken fried steak sandwich with the fries and the fry sauce, or a famous Farmer Brown burger? It's great at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, let's move on over to Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley. They've done all that fancy remodeling and made more room for everybody to come on in and enjoy, and boy, do they ever. They've got a great menu, great people, and that Taco Bandito with their breakfast burritos, delicious. You got to try one today at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, then, let's move to Burgers, etc. They've got two locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness, corn dogs and burritos, only 99 cents after 3 p.m. All the delicious burgers. And, of course, don't forget, every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinners. They are good. Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, let's go on over to El Caporal. Yes, sirree, Bobby, 610 Overland in Burley. My goodness sakes, whether it's lunch, dinner, drinks, parties, whatever, oh my goodness, and try that red salsa. It'll knock your boots off. Delicious. Delicious and authentic Mexican food. You bet it's going to be great for you and your family at El Caporal, 610 Overland in Burley. Moving over now to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Oh my goodness, the fresh hand-cut fries and the buffalo burgers and the pork chops. Oh my goodness, you're going to love every bit of it. Great, friendly people at a location you'll want to go back to time and again. Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And last but not least, how about a pizza? Well, you can't have pizza unless it's Pooter's Pizza at 725 Minidoka Avenue in Burley. My goodness, the freshest of ingredients. Oh my goodness, they make their dough daily inside the store. And they've got also huge, fresh, hand-pressed burgers and delicious oven-baked sandwiches. All of this at Pooter's Pizza, 725 Minidoka Avenue in Burley, right inside the Snake River Bowl. You get over there and enjoy today. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Right now, we're going to take a little break and head to the news. I'll be back in about 6 minutes. Oh my, welcome back. Hour number 3 on a very wet Thursday. Holy smokes. I'm talking water out there. Guy on crutches like me walking through the water, I'll rust before I get to the barn. Oh my goodness sakes, be careful, drive carefully, please. Zeb at the Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, and of course, also some of our great advertisers, like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Once again, a reminder, Lennox and their home comfort systems and Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on those qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Let's see. Senior Junction Pumpkin Function. I know one of these days I'm going to slip up, and that's not going to come out right. Frightfully Wonderful. It's going to be October 27th. We're going to be doing a remote broadcast over there for all of my program on that Thursday, the 27th. Costume contest. Huge, ghoulishly delicious monster breakfast from 7 to 10. And they're going to have for sale the Creep candy. This is unbelievably funny. I love it. Things like, I'm not making this up, ghost poop and monster scabs and everything. Oh, it's fantastic. Really good candy. And T-shirts on sale for $15, and all the net proceeds, of course, go to the Meals on Wheels. So, boo! Senior Junction Pumpkin Function coming up. Right now, we're going to get ready to go to the Cache County School Days, and I am really, really honored to have two wonderful sponsors take care of that segment for us every Thursday. One being A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and oh my goodness, shop locally for all the back-to-school clothes. Over 200 jeans, beginning at just $13.99 for the boys and girls, and they've got hundreds of shirts that are only $8.99. Are you kidding me? And all kinds of socks. Man, I'm telling you, socks. They've got them in new winter coats, all of this at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And the other sponsor, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. You know what? They can save you a lot of money on your outpatient surgery. Please call them today at 677-8888. Whether it's colonoscopies or whether it is cataract surgery, please call them. They've been serving everybody in this area for over 15 years. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cache County. And right now, I think I've had this lady on the program with me before, and she is the media specialist for Burley High School, and that's Sherry Allred. Sherry, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am great. Thanks for having me.
Well, now, have you been on my program before?
I have not.
Well, boy, are you in for it this morning. Okay. Well, now, wait a minute. This is a new term. What does media specialist mean?
Well, media specialist takes the term librarian and then adds that technology into it. So it's kind of a multifaceted title.
Oh, so...
Still, learning myself, because I knew it this year. Mr. Badger... David Badger retired last year, so I am back in the library and learning that myself, how we introduce media and we come together with the library.
Now, I remember back into the old days of my high school career, our librarian, Miss Foster, and she was the sweetest lady outside of school, but she was one of the meanest, strictest people that could ever be a librarian. All she needed was a whip and a chair, and she could have trained lions. Are you like that?
I am not. I am quite the opposite, very much the opposite.
Okay, but what...
I've worked with students for a long time, but at the same time, I've coached, color guard and drill team, and I'm very different than that. I'm more, come on, let's get together and kind of have an enjoyable time through the hard stuff, so a little bit different.
All right. Well, now, Sherry, let me ask you this. I understand from Debbie Critchfield, the Cache County Schools Communications Officer, that you're working with the students to check on the benefits of good old-fashioned book reading. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think that there is a kind of a conflict when you come in with technology and we have this, very quick multitasking thing that we do with technology at our fingertips. And I'd like to take it back a little bit more old school and remember that there's also the process of reading a text all the way through to the end, not just skimming and scanning. And so I'm trying to bring the elements of technology, because there's so many benefits of that, but also remembering that there's a very critical part to engage our creativity, to engage our cognitive skills, and to really be creative thinkers instead of having that all at our fingertips. And so I'm trying to remind everybody that there's a real real important part of that old school reading, text to the end, but also the incredible things that we have at our fingertips with technology. So I'm kind of going one direction full speed and going the other direction full speed, which is what brings it into the media specialist. And so I wouldn't say I'm a specialist yet. Let's call me a director, but hopefully, we can really bring those students, because they love that technology part and it's part of their everyday life. But there's also a very important part of that old school thing of opening up a textbook and reading through it or engaging our imagination in a fictional piece. I think there's some real important key elements that we need from both sections.
Well, Sherry, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I might say something that may be offensive to some in education, but, that's their problem, because I have a right to my opinion, and in many respects, I think I'm right. I think we have got so involved with technology, the scales have tipped too far that way, and quite frankly, the old basics of getting back and reading a book, understanding a book, and not just getting a synopsis, technology, everything's figured out, you got the computers, you got all the hand calculators and everything, get back to maybe using your head a little bit on how to figure things out. I think technology took us too far to the edge. That's my opinion.
I agree. I agree completely. And like I said, I have children of my own that are very much based in technology, but also they love to read. And so they have that critical thinking part where they have a problem and they can go to Google, but they also have to figure it out. It's kind of like putting an equation in a calculator. We have to understand the equation first to put those numbers in for it to do it for us.
Right.
So that's the kind of thinking that we're trying to get, that we understand the equation first so we can understand what we're expecting technology to do for us, instead of just going, and I'm a Google fanatic. I have to say that. I Google a lot. I'm a writer and I Google. But at the same time, I also know what I'm looking for, and then I engage in that, So it's really just I think it's a very critical line we're walking, because these learners, these students that we're educating right now, they're the ones that are in this. And if we don't carefully guide them through it, I think we're going to have a time that we pay for that.
I agree with you. Now, I was told on this cheat sheet that Debbie sent me that you're involved in an exercise called spine poetry. What in the world? Is this something to do with the human anatomy, or what is it?
It is something so fun, and I'm so excited about it. What you do is they have to come in. We're having contests, and they have to come in, and they have to stack books from the library to create, just on the spine, the titles of the book, to create either a poem or a creative phrase. And we take a picture of that with their name on it, and then we're going to have some judges, and we're going to end the contest on October 1st. We're going to have some prizes, and it's really fun what the students have come up with so far.
Wow, it sounds interesting. You said earlier, and it was also mentioned to me, that you are an author. Now, may I please delve into a little bit what types of books or what type of an author are you?
Fiction. My first book was based on a dream my son had, and he's a programmer. So I took a freshman programmer and made him the author of a senior prank, and the senior class was paying the student to take down the district for an extended spring break. So it's called Spring Break Conspiracy, but it's kind of putting that technology and the trouble you can get in with technology. So it deals with terrorism and a terrorist thing scenario, and then kind of goes from India to Washington, D.C., and it's just kind of a fun thing. But now I'm doing one on historical fiction, which has really been fun because I get to go back and really study the things, like if I write something where they picked up a cup of something, what's in there? What is it? Is it water? Is it, is it tea? Or it's just been kind of fun to really go back into history. So I never thought I'd do in historical fiction, but again, it's brought me the research, and so now I can kind of go back and tell the students how to research. So they have some really good conclusions that they come to, so that they're not just going off of really, crazy articles or whatever, that they're not coming up with the first Google search, but they're really searching deeply to find good results. So it's kind of fun that I've been doing that, and now I can teach the students how to use really good search results.
Oh, my goodness.
Come up with, things, and I'm really excited. This is just my element. I love books. I love the light that goes on in students' eyes when they find what they're looking for, when they're creative. It's just kind of a fun place to be.
I can tell with the enthusiasm in your voice that if you were a high school football coach and the doors were locked at halftime, the players would rip the doors off the hinges. You really are enthusiastic about this.
I am passionate about reading, that's for sure.
Okay, well, now, I've got to ask you this. I'm in the process, and I've been working on it now for 2 years, a book, and it's all short stories about my life, etc. And I got to just ask you this real quick, I have a hard time being really diligent, sitting down at an allocated amount of time or a period of the day, whether it's 6 in the morning or whether it's 8 at night. How in the world do you find the dedication with a busy schedule to take care of this? I've got to get this book finished this year, and I'm a long way away yet.
Well, I'm not sure I have that good answer because I have the same problems. I mean, life seems to step in and make everything complicated. But, there's just some things that drive you. I have some songs that if I just don't know what to do, I'll just put on this soundtrack that reminds me and takes me right there to my place in my book and my character's head. And if I put that on sometimes just as I'm doing something else, cleaning something, and that's on, all of a sudden my brain starts stirring and I go right to it because you have to just hurry and document what you're writing. And so sometimes you just have to be taken to that place. So I would say for you, maybe a nostalgic song or something that takes you back to those days that you're writing about. And then all of a sudden it just kind of generates that enthusiasm, those ideas and it kind of takes you away from whatever project you're doing and takes you back down to what made you start that in the first place.
Oh, my goodness. I would love to be a student in your class. I mean, you're inspirational. Your enthusiasm is fantastic. And I just wish a whole bunch more teachers would be like you. Sherry Allred, I really commend you on what you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's fun, and all you have to do is just look at who you're trying to teach, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I want you to develop a love for whatever you're doing. So, all you have to do is look in the students' eyes and say, oh my gosh, I want to turn the light on somewhere for you, somewhere in your learning that just empowers you to go out and be great, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to send these students out strong. We're trying to send them out to the community with that passion, with that empowerment that they can go out and just change the world.
Sherry, one quick thought here, and I want to get your response on this. I have said this for a long time, and I'm going to maintain it's true. I think a lot of times people that want to sit down and write, they want to either write poetry or they want to write a short story or whatever. They sometimes are dictated to about, oh, that's grammatically wrong, or you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have said that. I think, honestly, just put your thoughts down on paper and let it flow. Don't be so constricted with all these rules and regulations. Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, I completely agree. I think that we tend to get that rubric, that we have to satisfy that rubric. And I think the creative, I think that's why blogs are so successful right now, because they're saying whatever and there's no holds barred. They're just going and saying what they think. And so blogs are really popular right now because there is no structure or any rubric that we have to hold to. And so I think that when we get too much into the formal writing that you have to stay within those lines, the kids aren't out there doing that. They're blogging, they're texting, they're using language in a different way. And so I think that it's really important that we have that time for the students to be able to be creative in that, and that they can kind of break through that, because really I think creativity and the things that we're, the further thinking is not coming within that rubric. It has to be outside of that. And I think kids lose their passion. I think the kids lose their passion for reading when we're trying to meet a rubric and satisfy that grade. I think that we have to think outside the box and help these kids think outside the box as well.
Boy, I tell you what, you've got to promise me to come back on this program. When I need a cheerleader to get me uplifted, it's going to be you. So stay tuned for more of Sherry Allred, okay?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you very much. Lovely lady. Media specialist from Burley High School, Sherry Allred. Boy, I tell you, now there is the word that I'd like to use for all teachers. Enthusiasm. Man, she's passionate about that. Oh, my. Let's see. Where are we going to go right now? Oh, I want to tell you about La Vintage Boutique. Hello, Elizabeth Coyle, the owner at 1240 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Open Tuesday. Now, listen to their times they're open. I want you to go in and browse. Open Tuesday through Fridays, 10:30 to 5:30, Saturdays 11 to 4, and oh my goodness, they've got clothing in there, very, very cute dresses and jewelry, and they've got all kinds of antiques and home decor items and furniture, handmade items, wall hangings. Whoa, wait a minute, you're ahead of me. Now you know why I told you to arrange some time and go in and browse. You're going to love the store. It's ready for you at La Vintage Boutique, 1240 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Stop in and see them today. Let's see, in just a minute. Let's go to the phone line right now, and we're ready, and I believe we have our dear, dear friend from over at Minicash Sales. Oh, my goodness, it's Zach Attack time. Good morning, Zach. How are you?
I'm trying to get him on, sir. When I try to call the number, it says it's too busy.
It's too busy? It says that to you? We're too busy?
Well, it just gives me the busy dial tone like they're on the phone.
Oh, well, then keep trying. Okay?
Sure.
All right, we'll try to find another number in case we can't use that one. Okay, well, knowing that, I will try to fill in time with a big shovel and tell you that Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, and all you have to do is call them at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. They can save you money on Lennox at Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers for a long, long time. Over 50 years, man, they've been doing a great job, believe me. Until we find out where Zach is, and we're trying to find him, I want to remind you, too, that at 10:30 this morning, we're going to have a command repeat performance with a guest that was very, very interesting the other day, and that's Lee Stranahan, and we're going to be talking about how to make your hometown great again. We had a good conversation with him the other day. Didn't have a chance to answer and ask all the questions, so we're going to have him back here this morning at about 10:33, so stay tuned for that. How you doing, Wheels? Are you getting anybody?
No, I still got the busy tone. Would it be better if I tried calling the main number, the 678-6945?
Yeah, try anything. I mean, build a fire, send a smoke signal, whatever. I don't care.
All right,
buddy. Thanks. Be initiative, innovative. There you go. Hey, don't forget Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. You know, they've got all the living room groups of furniture. I mean, everything. And they've got all the recliners. And they've got, and I've been telling you about this, and I've had people call, they've got, if your spouse is snoring, I mean, like, you can stop that. Yeah, they got the snore buttons by Beauty Rest, Smart Motion, base powered by Sleep Tracker, where you can raise the bed up and everything and elevate it so that the snoring's not going to keep you awake until 3:30 in the morning. All of this is right there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see these wonderful people today. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I have no idea why we can't get through to Zach, and Deanne's checking. Hold on, what's the problem? And what number are you calling, Wheels?
I was calling 878-2091.
Oh, that's the number that Deanne just called and got right through.
Hang up, and I'll have Damon call you right
Okay, Damon, call again real quick, fast. Call that number right away. Evidently, the fingers were doing the walking on the wrong number or something because Deanne got through, and so we're going to try to get Zach on the air. I love live radio with the helter-skelter approach of people running all over going, I don't know. But we're going to try to get him on real quick, and we're almost out of time in this segment, but I want to get him on real quick and see if Wheels has got him. Wheels, you got him on the phone?
I do, sir.
All right, quickly. Good morning, Zach. How's things going over at Minnecasia Sales? I thought we'd never catch you.
Oh, it's just been one of those rainy, busy days.
Well, don't step outside and drown, man. It's deep out there. What's happening over at Minnecasia Sales? What do you got cooking right now?
We got some carpet in here right now that's a really good quality carpet for a really good price. Windows has been a really big hot seller lately with the weather changing. People are wanting to get these new windows in to keep with their heating bill down.
Now, Zach, are those the Western windows that you've been telling about?
They are.
Okay. And what makes them so energy efficient?
Just the quality of windows that they put out. It's just a real good quality window. I only order the Premier, and there's not a real big price difference in the Premier and the Signature series. So I just order the best quality, and you get the best R value in your glass and everything else. So I know the windows I'm selling are just one of the top of the lines for pricing that, even some of these other big stores can't even sell them for.
All right. Now, what about installation? Can you help line up the contractors to do the installation?
Oh, yes, we can. We got contractors that we work with that we're really comfortable with their work. We have good, good working relationships with them and the customers, and we just set them all up, and the contractors take care of the customers, and the customers are just happy as heck.
All right. Now, Zach, also real quick, I'm almost out of time, but I wanted to have everybody know that you've got all the different lumber packages for remodeling, especially looking at the holidays looming around the corner, don't you?
Oh, yes, we do. We have a little bit of lumber in stock, but if people give us a few days' notice, we can usually have any lumber they need here available for them.
And besides that, these are the nicest people in the world, and they sponsor Dr. History every Tuesday at 10:06. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Zach, what are the hours that you're open?
We are here from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4:30. If we're not here, we're not open on weekends, but if someone needs to come in and take a look and get some pricing from us, just give us a call, and we can make an appointment to be in here after hours or even on weekends.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just say hello to the rest of the family, give Abby a hug, and God bless you, Zach. We appreciate it at Minnecasia Sales.
Thank you.
All right, buddy, take care. That is one of the nicest men and families that I know, and great folks at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. I hated to rush along, but I was just about out of time because right now I got to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes with Lee Stranahan.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Holy cow, it is wet outside. I just looked over across the pasture, and there's some guy leading animals 2 by 2 into a big boat. Wonder what that means. Anyway, good morning. Welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch. And as I said a few moments ago, we are very blessed to have a gentleman that was on my program earlier this week, and we're inviting him back because he did such a wonderful job, and I've got more questions for him. We say good morning to Lee Stranahan. Good morning, Lee. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks very much for having me again. Appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you what, stay dry, my friend. It's really raining outside, but I don't feel that we gave the topic enough questions and answers the last time I had you on the air in regards to making your hometown great again. That's one of the philosophies and one of the principles that you're trying to instill here in this area. What can we do? Is the day of Norman Rockwell and his America, are they gone forever?
Well, I hope not. That's actually a great point you're bringing up. I had the experience a few years ago. I was in the Netherlands. And I had a minor medical problem. And so I had to go to the doctor. It was no big deal. It was a minor thing. Something stuck in my ear. And so I went to the doctor, and my experience was it was a doctor in an office with a nurse out front at the desk, the receptionist, and then he went in and he had like a medical bag, and I'm like, wow, this is really different. I remember this from when I was a kid. It was like a family doctor, and we've become so used to, for instance, in America right now, the big health insurance companies just running everything, right? And so when you go to a hospital, it's a very big corporate affair, and going to a doctor is much like that as well around the country. And I think about that with so many things right now, where, you know, you talk about Norman Rockwell, where a lot of it is, you know, there are reasons to go to a hospital, that makes sense, but not every medical problem requires that.
Yeah.
And that idea, for instance, of a family doctor, or of the friendly beat cop, right, the cop who would, you know, walk around and talk to people, those seem like things from a distant era in some ways. But that's part of what I've been thinking, you know, as we've developed the ideas behind Make Your Hometown Great.
Well, you know, I'm sitting...
That's part of the stuff we've been thinking about, is maybe some of that stuff should make a little bit of a comeback.
Absolutely agree with you. You know, I'm sitting here, and last time I had you on the program, I was thinking about this globalism, and I was thinking about, we're so concerned about what's going on in Taiwan, or we're so concerned about what's going on in Laos, or Japan, or New Zealand, and we're really forgetting about the nuts and bolts and the whole meaning of friendship and developing community pride right here locally. And I think that's what's gone right now today in America, is community pride. Would you agree with that or not?
No, I'd absolutely agree with it. And I think part of it is, and by the way, it's one of the reasons that I'm moving up here to Twin Falls. I like the community. I like the people. And I like the sense of community from the people here. I've lived in Dallas 7 years now. I lived in L.A. before that. You know, I know like 3 people in Dallas. That's really it. That's all I know. I already know, you know, 15, 20 people here in Twin Falls, and, you know, invited me over to dinner and you know, that kind of thing. And that's part of what I like about Twin Falls. What's interesting is I'm already seeing that. I mean, this is the danger of globalism. One of the things I think is great about Idaho is that it's not too far down the path. In other words, it's a little far down the path. And to the people who live here, it might seem, well, things have really changed. But I got to tell you, compared to most of the country, there's nothing. It's you're just like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 3. And I'd like to see it not get to a 5. And you can see with what's happening, for instance, more Syrian refugees went to Boise than New York or L.A. in the past month.
Right.
That tells you something, right? That made Drudge Report recently. That's what they're trying to do. And so, yeah, I think that sense of community pride, that's exactly what we're trying to hit on with GreatHometown.com. That's exactly what we're trying to hit on. This idea of what makes a place interesting, unique, and accentuating the good parts, and then not trying to turn everything into one big rubber stamp, generic community. So, yeah, I agree with you completely.
But, you know, Lee, one thing I feel, and again, you can disagree with me and kind of discuss it a little bit, with all of these people that mostly are centered on the liberal left in this country, they think, oh, we've got to have more diversity. We've got to have different cultures come in. And I absolutely put my boot down and say, no. I am very happy with my culture. I'm very happy with the Western heritage. And I think by bringing in all these diverse ideas, diverse cultures, diverse personalities, pretty soon you have a fragmentation that will never heal the community. And I'm going to stand behind that. How do you feel?
Well, it depends, right? So I think that if somebody comes up to Twin Falls, I'm going to just use Twin as an example. If someone comes up to Twin Falls and goes, hey, I like it up here. This is beautiful. This is a great country. These are people I want to be with. I want to go up there and start a business. At that point, I don't care what color, background. I don't care whether they're Italian, Indian, whatever. I don't care. And my guess is you wouldn't particularly care about that either.
No, not at all.
Family deciding to come up here.
Yep.
I don't think you'd be like, no, they can't come.
That's exactly right.
But where it gets weird is where somebody else, a bureaucrat in Washington, D.C., let's say, or a committee at the UN, decides we're going to diversify that community.
Right.
And by the way, I would feel exactly the same if I were in a place like New Orleans. Take New Orleans, right? New Orleans heritage, it's Cajun and black, okay? I don't feel like you need to take New Orleans and pump it full of, let's say, white Mormons. You know, let's bring in tens of thousands of white Presbyterians or something like that to try to change the nature of the place. Does that make sense? Like,
absolutely.
I'm fine with New Orleans having a culture that's Cajun and black. It's what makes it cool, right? The jazz, the music, everything like that. That's what makes New Orleans New Orleans. Okay, that's fine. And I feel exactly the same way about every part of the country, you know? So if it happens naturally, if people are interested in stuff and they want to go up and be part of a community, that's great. But number one, these decisions are being made by outsiders. And number two, the danger right now with the refugee program is it's bringing in almost exclusively Muslim refugees. And the danger of that is Muslims are specifically not supposed to assimilate. They are specifically sort of forbidden from assimilating. And so that's bringing a very different, very non-American culture in. And, you know, again, a friend of mine put this well. She's like, if I'm out and I see somebody going to a mosque and the women are wearing hijabs or something like that, she's like, I don't care. That's none of my business. But when she sees someone with a hijab, for instance, at the local, you know, grocery store or something like that, that's sort of a message is, I'm not assimilating. I'm not assimilating. This is what I'm doing. It's not like I'm dressing this way for church. It's not like I'm dressing this way on a holiday. Nope. This is it. We're here. Deal with it. And that's what I don't agree with. And right now, the refugee program really is bringing in people who just have no interest. I've been to the city council meetings 4 or 5 times now, and I've heard a lot of discussion about the refugees. Do you know who I haven't seen? A refugee. I have not seen a single, and when I say refugee, maybe there's some of the Bosnians who came in 20 years ago. I don't know, because they're assimilated. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who've been here for a while who you don't know if they're refugees or not. But I have not seen a single one of these recent refugees, which are really the point. Not a single one of them. So they're not even assimilating, knowing they're being talked about, to show up to a city council meeting and say, hey, here's my opinion, here's what I think. And by the way, if they did that, they'd probably need to bring a translator with them. So that tells you how assimilated they are.
Well, and I look at this thing even a little deeper sometimes as to what I expect for people coming in here. When you talk about assimilation, I don't care if they eat a different type of food. I don't care if they even dress differently. But you know what? When all of a sudden that national anthem is played, I want to see the assimilation where there's pride and tears in their eyes, and they're so grateful that they're here in the United States of America instead of a fragmentation. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, me too. I love food, and I love all kinds of food. I love ethnic food, and I love, that kind of stuff. And by the way, this is how I think they trick people. The people who are behind the quote-unquote diversity, right, they don't want diversity. They're trying to destroy white Western culture. And the reason they're trying to do that is, and this is what the women's studies, ethnic studies programs at colleges, they're let's be plain on this, because I've covered this a lot as a reporter. They're communist, and they're communist with a very specific belief system. They believe that America and the West are the racist, oppressor, evil in the world that must be destroyed in order to bring communism. And by the way, this is what the communists have in common with the political Muslims, who believe that the United States is the great Satan, must be destroyed, and everything else. So you have the interesting thing now of the communist working with the Islamist. You have the far left in this country, George Soros, is that ilk of hard left communist, hard left socialist pushing this agenda, and it's no surprise that President Obama and Hillary Clinton, who are the farthest left politicians or candidates that this country has ever seen, further to the left than FDR was, further left than any of them, it's no shock that they're pushing this agenda, because really it's a purely destructive agenda. They think that white, Christian, patriotic America is bad, and that's what they want to destroy. So they do this by saying, well, look, we need diversity, and look, here's a pretty Indian sari, look at the clothes, or look at this, or whatever. But that's not the agenda. The agenda is purely political, and that's what's going on. And so they want to make you out to be anybody who says this a hater, a racist, a xenophobe. But this is the same argument that the communists have used for decades and decades and decades now, and that's why you're seeing it in full-throated form with the Hillary Clinton campaign. It's literally the only argument they have in some cases.
Absolutely. Now, let me get back quickly before I run out of time again on this segment about your Make Your Hometown Great Again and the terminology populist localism. Lee, break that down in simple terms. Populist localism, what really does that mean, and what does it entail?
Well, I got the idea. I was thinking about the Donald Trump campaign, which is populist nationalism. And the left has been trying to make this out to be something scary. Oh, he's a Nazi. Right? Well, no. The Nazis were National Socialist, but let's skip that part, right? So they don't want to talk about that because suddenly it sounds like Bernie Sanders, right? Populism is simply the opposition to elites running things, an entrenched political establishment. And anytime you get a former Republican president, George H.W. Bush, saying he's going to vote for Hillary Clinton, the Democrat nominee, the mask has been ripped off. You see what's going on. This is a puppet show.
Yep.
Hillary Clinton and George Bush have a lot more in common than anyone wants to pretend. And Donald Trump, again, whether you like his style or not, whether you like him personally or not, he's the guy leading the charge. And I think he'd have to be. You can't, when you go up against the establishment, if you're not ultra-rich and pretty famous, they're going to crush you, right? So a regular person trying to take on the Democrats and the Republicans would simply have no chance. So I got to thinking about that. I'm like, okay, Donald Trump is he refers to himself as like a messenger. I'm like, okay, well, what's the message, and how do we do something about it locally? So I started thinking about applying populism, anti-establishment, to the local situation, not just at a federal level, Trump running for president, but what do you do about the mayor races? What do you do about city councils? Because, of course, you see this all over the place. City councils make a big impact. State legislatures make a big impact. So what can we do to fight the establishment, the entrenched, politically connected business people, and the business-funded politicians of both parties? And that really allows you to think outside the box. If you're not trying to suck up to either party's talking points. So I'll tell you where I started to get this idea, too, is that I covered the Democratic National Convention, and I was out there with the Bernie Sanders supporters who were protesting. And at the time, were protesting rightfully the way Hillary Clinton had rigged the system against them. And I listened to these Bernie Sanders supporters, who I don't agree with on anything. I hate socialism, I hate communism. But I listened to them, and I said, you know what? They're identifying the problem correctly. They see the problem. Their solution is more government, which is stupid, because the solution is less government. But they see the same problem, and I started to realize that maybe Americans actually, maybe 80% of America would actually agree on a number of the problems that we're having. And look, you live on a ranch, right? Do you hate the environment?
Absolutely not. I depend upon the environment like most people, everybody in agriculture.
That's right. And so, but of course, that's not the... See, if you like the environment, you're supposed to be a Democrat. Does that make sense?
Not at all.
And so these boxes, and and let's say you're a black Democrat. How bad is abortion for the black community? It's pretty bad, right? It's devastating, actually. But of course, if you're a Democrat, you're supposed to be pro-abortion. And what I'm saying is, when you start to take those labels off and talk to people, I've talked to plenty of black people in the South, for instance, who are dead set against abortion, and they don't have any representation. And so when you start to look at some of these issues and say, let's take the labels off, you know, like, can you be pro-life and pro-environment? I think you can be. But the reason the establishment wants to put those labels on is this is a way they have of keeping control of you. And there's two sides who want to keep control of people. So if we apply this on a local level, we can do something that politicians have never been able to do, which is solve some problems. They want to perpetuate the problems. So when you look at a situation, take any issue, homelessness or something like that, there are ways to go in and start to make a dent in those problems, but no one wants to do it. And just down the line, a big corporation coming in, do you think if they start violating environmental laws that are on the books and they're common sense ones, who's going to enforce that? If a company like Chobani is doing something out of line, do you think that the city council here is going to actually hold their feet to the fire?
Not at all.
On any issue?
Not at all.
It's employment rights or anything. They're not, because they're worried about the money. So that's what the idea is, starting to approach fighting the establishment just at a local level, in addition to whatever you do federally.
So basically, and I'm almost out of time, I got about a minute left, there is an opportunity, even in today's globalist push, to bring back Aunt Bee, Opie, and Barney back to Mayberry.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Or like I say, it's whatever community you're in. We have so many great communities around here. L.A., Los Angeles has a long-standing Hispanic heritage, for instance. That's great. Keep that. Whatever. I don't care about that. That's the way they are. But let's not try to let the establishment set the rules for everybody.
Amen.
At every level.
Amen.
Let's take back control of our own community.
Lee Stranahan, I've got to have you back more often. Next time I'm going to invite you out here to the studio, and I would like to say God's blessings and thank you for taking the time to come on the program again, talking about Make Your Hometown Great Again. Thank you, Lee. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you, and thanks for having me on.
All right, sir. Thank you much. Oh, Wheels is sitting over there at the main studio going, Zeb, you forgot the weather. No, I didn't. I'm late. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Great meats from your custom meat processor for over 20 years, Scarrows Meats. Here's Gina with the weather.
Here's your weather for the first day of fall, and it is going to be a wet one today. Rain throughout the day. It's going to be heavy at times, specifically in the morning. We do have some thunderstorms that are possible as well, looking at a high of 56, winds out of the west, right around 14 miles an hour. We're expecting an inch of rain today as we move on into the evening hours. More rain showers. We are expecting about a quarter of an inch of rain, low right near 45, winds out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Rain showers again for tomorrow as we get ready to head on into the weekend, winds out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, high of 50 with an overnight low of 42. And as we get on into the weekend, supposed to be sunny skies. Hopefully that's going to help us dry out a bit, and highs are going to be in the low to mid-60s. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Woo, it sounds damp outside. It is. Weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew, really good friends of ours and yours, at 331 North Road, Jerome. And the number to call, 324-7657. It's true. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Wonderful people over there. Holy moly, this morning went fast, and it's wet out there. Be careful, folks. Stay dry. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, with their big fall tire sale going on right now. Tires like their best passenger car tire, the Ultra Z900, on sale right now. All-season tread, 65 to 80,000 mile warranty. Oh, my. And the best tire value promise in the industry, along with the best in brake service. Oh my goodness, professionally trained technicians, the brake industry's best warranty at all 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, and the best in service with the nicest people. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Wheels, are you going to have yourself a wild weekend?
I am. I think I might have to get myself, you know, those airplanes that can go on water and they have the little canoe-looking things underneath them. I don't really know what they're called.
You know, pontoons?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
I think I might have to get one for each of my wheels.
Float out into the parking lot. Listen, man, you stay safe, stay dry, and don't rust on me until next Monday, okay?
Yes, sir. I'll be looking forward to seeing you on Monday.
All right. Listen, we're going to wrap it up and put it back in the box. That's my buddy Wheels over there. Couldn't do it without him. He does a wonderful job. And we want to invite you to be back here again next Monday at 8:06, right here on 12:30 a.m., Zeb at the Ranch. And we go till 11 o'clock. We want to also remind you that you can pick us up on the internet at zebbell.com, and we're heard all over the world. And if you want to get my blog, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, just go there to zebbell.com, punch it in, put your name and address, and we'll make sure you get a copy, all right? Zeb at the Ranch, we'll see you Monday at 8:06. God bless.